Hi everyone, it's Todd Nauck here with another three-part video. This time we're doing a Harley Quinn commission. Video one here is just the pencil stage, so I'll walk you through some of my tips and answer some more of your questions. So with Harley Quinn is a really fun character, so I wanted to do a really kind of fun pose, an action pose. Working on a 9x12 piece of Canson Bristol board here, so doing a light rough of the initial pose, and Harley jumping through the air, about to clobber someone off screen with her giant wooden mallet. So as you see here, as I lightly rough in the shapes and feel comfortable with the placement of the body of the figure, of her limbs, the motion, the movement of the figure work, I will then start to darken up each line as I feel more confident in where I've placed each aspect of her figure or her character, or the details of her costuming and stuff like that. So so as we watch here and I continue to sketch in, you'll see it get tighter and tighter. So in the meantime, let me try get into some of your questions. First up, from Hector Felipe via Twitter, asks, how did you begin to develop your own style of drawing? Well, gosh, I think like a lot of comic book artists, we all start off as comic book fans, and we're all inspired by our favorite artists, whether it be Jack Kirby, John Byrne, Arthur Adams, Jim Lee, Humberto Ramos. You go through the decades and pick your favorite artists, and I think we're influenced by all different eras of artists. For me, as a kid, especially growing up in the 80s, I was a big fan of the X-Men artists. So I was heavily influenced by Arthur Adams, Rick Leonardi, Walter Simonson, and Alan Davis. I've mentioned that in a number of interviews, and that's the answer to the same question at conventions, on panels, and things like that. I have admittedly been influenced by those guys for sure. But when it came to developing my own style, I found that the less I looked at my favorite other artists and drew from real life, or just drew from my imagination, the more my style started to come about, interpreting the world through my lens, through the filter of my lens. And I think that's kind of the same with other artists. I mean, it's okay for us to be, I think, influenced and inspired by our favorite artists. I think we always will be, because we enjoy the medium, but we don't want to use it as a crutch. You don't want to be a carbon copy of or a third generation photocopy of someone else's style. And to really develop your own style is to kind of break away from that and interpret the world through your vision. And that's really gonna, the distinction is really going to start to come there. So draw from real life and interpret that through your comic book or cartoon style filter, and I think your style will emerge and reveal itself through that process. So that'd probably be the best way I could answer that question, and I really appreciate it, Hector. Thanks for posting that on Twitter. Let's see, got another question here by Jet Durbin, which, Jet, you have an awesome name. I hope that's your real name, because that is a name to kill for. Jet posted, what do you think of the Art Institute? Well, I actually am a graduate of the Art Institutes. Well, just the one school. I went to the Dallas school. Being a native Texan, I attended the Art Institute of Dallas and studied the Commercial Art and Graphic Design program. This was back before they introduced the animation course. The animation course probably would have been more along the lines of what I wanted to learn. It would lend itself to comics, what with character design and storyboard and background design, things like that would have really been helpful for my career as a comic book artist, because I was dead set on being a comic book artist. But they didn't offer that at the time, so I studied commercial art, graphic design, had life drawing classes. I had, design classes, perspective classes, things I could, that were art related. I mean, they really helped out in making my skills more professional and really helped me progress farther faster. And I was able to break into the comic book industry a year after I graduated from the Art Institute. So I found it to be a good school, but I was putting into it what I wanted to get out of it. I was not wanting to be a commercial artist or graphic designer in the least. So I was really moving and working towards being a comic book artist and applying the things I was learning there to my desired career. So in a sense, I was almost studying under two different curriculum, the one that they were teaching, and then in my spare time, my free time, doing what I could to apply that to comics and figure it out, because this was before the internet was big, and I didn't have that as a resource to help me learn. I couldn't watch videos like you guys can now to see how pros do it. I had to be lucky enough that some comic pros would come through Dallas for a convention or a store signing, and I get to meet them, talk to them, ask them some questions, show them my portfolio, get some face-to-face critiques, which is harder to do nowadays. You can't go to San Diego Comic-Con and get your portfolio looked at as easily as I could when I was trying to break in when I was younger. So I guess there's give and take, and we all work with what we have before us. So if you decide to go to the Art Institute, really, I think ultimately you're going to get out of it what you put into it. So keep that in mind. And thanks for the question, Jet. All the best with your art. Let's see, another question here from Mindbender. I don't think that's a real name, but I think it is a great screen name. Mindbender asks, do you have any tips for beginners with hands? I assume you mean with drawing hands. I would say use the resource of the internet, as I was mentioning in Jet Durbin's answer there, is do a search for visual tutorials that show kind of a breakdown of how to draw hands. I love drawing hands. I think I've always enjoyed drawing hands. Even as a kid, I found them, and still do find them, to be very expressive. They convey as much emotion as the face does. I think they are very important, and you can pose them in so many different ways, from a point to a fist to a open palm to grabbing something, holding a gun, holding a sword, holding a TV remote, holding you can do so much with the hands. So I really enjoy drawing them, but they are very challenging. A lot of people have a difficulty drawing hands, so they avoid it, and their hands are weak, and it's they're unimpressive. So yeah, you got to work on the hands and really get a feel for them, and it takes practice. I wish I had a quick and easy answer for that one, but it's practice, study, check into life drawing classes in your local community, whether it be through community college, at school, if you're in high school or junior high, art school. Or I know there are local summertime programs, things like that. So do some research, use the internet, find some art classes if possible, and also just keep looking for videos like these, or blog posts that break down the shapes of the hands, and simplify the shapes, and then you detail out the knuckles and joints as you break things down, like I've done with this drawing here. I didn't start in with finished, perfectly drawn hands. First time I put pencil to paper, I had to rough them out, shape them out, move them around, get the hands just right as I go through each stage. So really learn how to sketch them out, get a feel for them, and let them move as they need to move. Be willing to edit them up as you go. If you need to change the shape of the fist that's holding onto that hammer, go for it. Do it to where it looks right, because hands, just like a face, very expressive. So I hope that helps answer your question there, Mindbender. And thanks for posting. And it looks like we're running out of time for this one, so I hope y'all enjoyed the pencil stage here for this Harley Quinn commission. Part 2 will be coming up real soon with the inks, and then I'll follow it up with a Copic color video later in the month of July, early August. So appreciate y'all hanging out, and we'll see you real soon. Thanks a lot. Goodbye.